45 minutes together today. We've got a yoga stretch, which means we're going to slow it down a little bit. Breathing, our body is stretching out. So I'm going to start seated on my mat today. So hopefully you can join me. Coming on down, you can sit at the front of your mat because I want you to see kind of what the moves look like. My mat is turned, but if you want to sit at the front of your mat, crisscross, just breathing for now. Settling into the mat. For now, just taking a scan through your body. Maybe noticing some tight spots. Where your body needs a little extra love. As you're here, breathe in and out. You can even imagine that breath as a wave crashing onto shore, breathing in, and letting that exhale go back out to sea. As we're sitting here, we don't have to be doing our breaths perfectly. We don't have to be sitting perfectly still. You can move around, feel out your body, the shoulders, the back, neck and hips. Take a few more breaths, just focusing on you, checking in with your body, figuring out what you need for the day today. And when you're ready, set those palms on your knees, crown of your head lifted high, shoulders rolled back, down, and away from your ears. Core engaged, sitting tall. As we breathe in, we feel our chest expand, not our shoulders lifting. That breath is wide, not tall. As we're breathing here, we're lengthening through the spine, feeling that pull right through the crown of your head. With an exhale, melt your hands down by your hips. A big inhale is gonna sweep your hands up overhead. Exhale, come right back down by your sides. 3 more just like that. Big breath in. Exhale, coming down. Try to keep the shoulders out from pinching through the ears. And 1 more big breath in and out. Breath in, hands come down, heart center. Exhale, pulling down that midline. As we're here, we roll the shoulders back. Feel our spines tall and long. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, look over that right shoulder. Maybe even a little twist through the shoulders. Keeping your hands at heart center. Good. Inhale, come back center. And exhale, looking to the left. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale this time, looking over the right. Let that right hand sweep back. Looking over that shoulder, maybe assisting for a little bit more in that twist. Good. Exhale, center. Inhale, twist to the left. Excuse me. Crown of the head is still tall as we twist. Good. Come back center. Inhale, sweep those arms high overhead. Right hand to the ground. Left arm stays reached up over, finding a side body stretch here. Good. Inhale, both arms tied to the sky. And exhale, drop that left arm, reaching across. Side body stretch. Feel that hip reach for the ground. We're not reaching forward and bending over. We're staying tall here. Good. Inhale, center. Again, reaching towards the right. Keeping that chest tall. We're not here. Keeping the chest tall. Inhale, center. And one more to the side. Good. Inhale, up center. Exhale, hands behind your back. And straighten your feet out in front. All right. We have our arms behind us. They can be flat on your mat or coming together. As we're here, I don't want our shoulders rounding forward, trying to open the chest. Lift through the chin. Down, away from your ears. Feeling that chest open, that chest stretch. Good, and exhale, release. Bringing those hands towards your thighs, towards your shins. And we're gonna keep our spine long as we hinge forward. Feeling a stretch on the backside of our legs. Maybe we're at our thighs, maybe shins, ankles, or feet. Wherever you're at is okay. Try to keep that back flat for now. Toes reaching up to the sky. Back is flat, leading and pulling forward with that chest. And with an exhale, tuck the chin around the spine, reach forward. Beautiful. And slowly roll it back up, seating tall. Shoulders and chin are the last to sit tall. One more time, reaching down, back is flat, feet pointed straight to the sky. Reaching as far as your hips, your back will allow. Keeping that chest pulling forward. And when you're ready, tuck that chin round through the back. Reach nice and low. Good. Slowly come on up. We're gonna swing our feet around, finding a tabletop position. So those feet swing back, getting up onto our knees and onto our hands. It doesn't have to be pretty. We're just working our way to there. Activating through our core to keep our spine nice and flat. Tops of your feet digging into the mat. Palms and fingers spread wide, pressing into the mat. Grounding through your knees, through the tops of your feet, and through your hands. Feeling that core activate. We're not arching through the back. We're not dipping through the back. Keeping it nice and neutral for now. Good. From here, I want you to tuck your toes, send your hips all the way up to the sky. We're going into our first downward dog of the day. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world. There's lots of popping, lots of cracking. Go ahead and pedal through your feet. Good. Dropping the heels one at a time. Maybe even letting those hips shift side to side. Again, this is your time to reset that body. You know what your body needs here.
take a moment just to scan through that entire body, from the heels all the way up through the fingertips. Just checking in with every muscle in the body, where things feel tight. Keep your chin tucked, crown of your head in line with your arms. Heels reaching for the mat, hips lifting for the sky. Beautiful. Big inhale, your eyes are gonna come forward. Exhale, step your feet up. We've got a forward fold. First one of this kind. Go ahead and have a little bend in the knees if it feels right. Relaxing through your upper body. Be released, relax. Feeling that space in our spine lengthen. Big inhale, half lift up, flat back. And exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, reverse swan. We sweep the arms up tall, finding a mountain pose. As we're here, we are standing tall, abs engaged, a little tuck through the hips, palms open to the world in front of us. Yeah, I'm gonna keep breathing here, breaths in and out. When you're ready, a big sweep, bring those arms overhead, coming down by your sides. 2 more just like that. Last one, big breath in, and out by your sides. Okay, breathe in, and we're gonna squeeze between the shoulder blades, getting a cactus arms or a W, so squeeze in here. Breathing up. 3 more breaths just like this, opening through the chest. Feeling that power, that strength come into your body. And on your next exhale, swan dive, lead with the chest, forward fold. Beautiful. Relax through that upper body. Maybe we can have a little bit straighter legs. Inhale, half lift up. Good. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands, and step back, finding a high plank. We're working our way through a few sun salutations just to warm up our body just a little bit. Good. From here, you can drop down to your knees or stay on your toes. Coming forward, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra, lifting through. Good. Exhale, send those hips back, child's pose. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, tuck the toes, send the hips up into the air, downward dog. Good. Check back in with your body. Where are we feeling? Does anything feel looser? Anything feel tighter? Big inhale, eyes come forward. Exhale, step or hop your feet, forward fold. Exhale here. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Lower down, and inhale, reverse swan, all the way up to the top. And exhale. Few cactus arms, opening through the chest, feeling that power build. And swan dive with your next exhale, leading with the chest, finding that forward fold. Inhale, half lift up. Exhale down. Hands meet the mat, feet step or hop back, find your high plank. Good. Inhale, come forward, chaturanga, lowering down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, tuck your toes, send the hips up, find your down dog. Beautiful work. With your next inhale, I want your right leg to lift high into the sky. Exhale, coming down, knee to nose. Good, one more big breath up. And come through crescent lunge, rounding through the spine to get that foot between the hands. Big breath up, finding your crescent lunge. Ooh. Take a few moments here, feeling that calf stretch on the back leg, keeping it nice and straight, relaxing through the shoulders. Good. Exhale, open up warrior two. Feeling that chest open, arms staying at shoulder height, lengthening through that back heel. We're gonna straighten our front leg. Inhale, come forward to find a triangle here. Finding a stretch on that inner thigh. Ooh. Eyes reaching up to the sky if you can. Feeling a little bit of a twist here. Good. Exhale, both hands down to the ground inside of that foot. Bend through your front knee and drop your hips nice and low. Right here, we've got a hip flexor stretch for the back leg. Go ahead and drop to that back knee. All right, as we are here, go ahead and roll to the outside of that front foot. So I'm going to turn towards you so you can see what I mean by that. So normally we're here, and if you roll those toes to the outside, it's going to open up and stretch through this hip a little bit more. You can get a deeper stretch to that hip flexor and that hip. Take a few breaths here, in and out. If it's too uncomfortable for your knee, for your ankle, whatever, go ahead and stay here. No judgment. It's your body. It's your stretching time. Good. And with an inhale, flatten that foot. Straighten your front leg, sending your hips back. We've got a hamstring stretch right through that center. Try to keeping your back flat. Relaxing through that thigh. Maybe even giving it a little massage to let go. Good. Try to exhale those hips back and down. Beautiful. Inhale, come on forward. Tucking the toes back. Sending your right leg back and find a down dog. Fingers spread wide, heels dropping down towards the mat, grounding through the fingertips, grounding towards the heels. Inhale, feel that hip lift up towards the sky, feeling the stretch lengthen on the back side of your legs. Good, and exhale, knees meet the ground. We're finding a figure four. Figure four, not a figure four. Quadruped. Or a tabletop. Like, figure four does not work through here. All right, a big inhale, uplifting the crown of the head, dropping the hips. We're moving into cat-cow. Exhale, create space between the shoulder blades, round through the back, tuck through the hips and chin. Good, inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Good. If one feels really good, you're welcome to stay in one position or the other. Listening to your body here. Working through a few more breaths here. At your pace, on your breath. Good. When you've had enough, find a neutral spine. Shoulders out from your ears, hips stacked on top of the knees. grounding through the tops of your feet and through your fingertips. A big inhale is going to lift your right arm high to the sky. And exhale, thread through the arm, trying to get that right shoulder down to the ground. Relax your face and your head to meet the ground. Now right here, my hips are quite high. If you want a little bit deeper of a stretch, try sending those hips lower towards your heel. Feeling the shoulder, feeling the stretch. Maybe even a little twist through that torso. Reach your left fingertips towards the top of your mat. A little counter twist here. Give yourself 3 more breaths. Big breath in and out. When you've had those breaths, pulling that left hand back under your shoulder. Exhale, pressing high. And inhale, lift that arm up. Bringing it right back in place. From here, we're gonna tuck our toes, send our hips to the sky. And just take a scan through our body. How are we feeling? How does your right arm compare to the left? Right leg compared to the left. Grounding through the fingertips, grounding through the heels, and lifting through the hips. A big inhale is gonna lift our left heel high to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose, come on through. Good, inhale high. And exhale, crescent lunge, bringing that knee through. And planting your foot. Big breath up, crescent lunge. Find that balance wherever you need it. Good. Open up, warrior 2. Back heel down. Open the shoulders, tuck the hips, activate the core. Keeping that bend in the front leg as best you can. Good. Inhale, straighten that front leg. We're gonna reach forward and find a triangle pose here. Eyes reaching high to the sky, finding that inner thigh stretch here. Well done. Try to relax. When you've had enough, both hands exhale to the ground inside of that front foot. Bringing your hips nice and low, straighten through that leg. Drop that knee. Finding that hip flexor stretch right here. And rolling out to the outer edge of that left foot. Find a little bit of a glute stretch. We're taking our time here. I apologize for all the sniffles. Good. Inhale, flattening that foot and straightening out your front leg, keeping your back nice and flat. Maybe you need to sit up real quick to reset. Hinging forward with a flat back, toes to the sky. Tuck your chin and round down, giving a break to that upper back. Good, we're gonna shift our weight forward, tuck our back toe back under. Beautiful. From here, send your left leg back, downward dog. Spreading fingertips, dropping heels. Good. Check in with that body. Maybe your left leg feels a little bit closer to the right. And with an exhale, we drop down to our knees, finding our tabletop. And we'll move through cat and cow once again. Inhale, opening up to cow. Exhale, arching through cat. Working with your breath. Inhale and exhale. Good. Give yourself 3 or 4 more full breaths. In through the mouth or nose, out through vein. Good. And when you've had enough, go ahead and find a neutral spine and then start shifting your hips left to right. Maybe even giving yourself a gentle circle through those hips. Feeling that stretch right through the side of your hip. Give yourself permission to go both directions, to spend as much time in this shift side to side as you need. Maybe you just go side to side. Maybe there's no front and back, no circling. That's okay. Listen to your body. Go ahead, sit into that stretch on one hip or the other. If you're feeling a really good stretch, that's okay. Take your time. Good. If your hips have had enough, find that neutral spine. Grounding through the tops of your feet, through the fingertips. Activating through the core. Big breath is going to lift your left hand high to the sky. And exhale, threading through underneath that right arm until your head meets the mat. Good. From here, if those hips can drop a little closer to the heels. With an inhale, that right fingertips can reach up towards the top of the mat. Finding a gentle twist through the spine. Stretch through the shoulder. Good. Give yourself 1 or 2 more breaths here. When you've had enough, pull that right hand back under your shoulder. A big inhale sweeps the other arm up and back down. Good. From here, we tuck our toes. Check back in with our down dog. How do our legs feel? How do our arms feel? Inhale your eyes forward, shift into a high plank. Good. Exhale back to a down dog, lifting through the hips, feeling that lengthen through the backside. Good. Inhale, shift to a plank. Go ahead, drop down to your knees, send those hips back, child's pose. Good. Feeling that low back stretch out. If it's a little uncomfortable for you, touch those toes together. Knees knees, come a little bit wider and take a wide child's pose.
I apologize when my face gets this close to the ground, but my kid's the ground every once in a while. I'll do my best to keep my eye on it. Alright, big inhale, come on up.
We're gonna shift onto our backs. Doesn't have to be pretty. Feet towards the top of the mat. We're gonna take a couple shoulder rolls. Hands right behind at your knees and slowly rock yourself back one vertebrae at a time. Wonderful. I always like hugging my knees first thing when I get to the ground. It gives me a chance to melt my entire spine into my mat. Take a few breaths here before even moving. Good. With an exhale, release those feet to the ground. Just breathe. With your feet on the ground, grounding your upper shoulders and your feet into the ground. I want us to press through those points to lift our hips up into the air. So a gentle hip bridge here. With this hip bridge, we're trying to keep a straight line from our knees to our shoulders. Hands can be on the ground. We're activating through the glutes, the hamstrings just a bit here. And exhale, release. Round it down one vertebrae at a time. We want that low back to connect. This time when we lift up, we're gonna have our hands come together on the back side. We might have to kind of wobble side to side to get our shoulder blades to come together, but we wanna get a little bit of a chest stretch at the same time. So grounding through the shoulders, grounding through the feet, a big exhale to lift on up. Getting those hands to come together is kind of easy, but what I want you to do is kind of walk those shoulder blades together a bit further. Maybe you lift your hips up a little higher, maybe you keep them a little lower to protect your low back. Feel that chest come together, rather stretch apart. Shoulder blades come together. Pressing through the heels, grounding through the heels, not letting that pressure come through your back. If you've had enough, release those hands. And roll down one vertebrae at a time. Yes. I need to wiggle side to side to let that relax. Beautiful. That's all we're doing for that. Big inhale. I want both legs straight up to the sky, heels reaching up. Good. Let that right leg drop down to the ground. Hug your left knee into your chest. And then pull that knee to your right shoulder. So finding a little cross body stretch here. Try to relax, try to breathe through your exhale here. Good. Bring that knee back towards your chest. And then a little bit wider towards your armpit. So just kind of shifting across the top of the body. Noticing how each position feels a little bit different. Go ahead and bend your right leg up, foot on the ground. Then we're gonna take our right ankle and cross it over
that leg. A supine figure 4. Here, this may be enough of a stretch for you. If you need a little bit more, reach your hands around the back side of that right leg. And find that stretch right through the left glute here. Trying to let that knee reach towards the top of the mat. Maybe you can add some ankle rolls of the right foot while you're here. Both directions. Good. Try and pull that right leg closer to your chest. Ooh. And with an exhale, release it down. Both legs, both feet flat on the ground. Take a few breaths here. Straightening your left leg out. Right knee hugs towards your chest. Oh. Good. And with this, come on to the opposite shoulder. A little bit of a cross body stretch here. Should feel that a little bit through that outside. Not too much, but a little bit. Bring it back to the chest. Then a little bit wider towards that armpit. Beautiful. Pull that left foot up, planting the foot on the ground. Right ankle crosses over that left knee. If this is enough of a stretch for you, stay here. Pull that low back towards the mat. If you need a little bit more, thread those hands behind your left foot. Giving yourself permission to just let that leg, that muscle lengthen. Every exhale, relaxing. Feeling those muscle fibers stretching apart a bit more. Hugging that leg a little tighter to the chest. And exhale, bring it down. Both feet connecting with the mat. Low back engaging. We're going to take our left leg straight up into the air, right leg straight on the ground. A gentle pull here. Nothing crazy. We've done plenty of hamstring stretching. What I want to happen here is to take this left foot, bringing it across your body. So in order to do that, I want your left arm to come out to the ground right behind you, trying to keep that left shoulder on the ground. When we exhale, we can keep this leg straight or bend through it to find this low back twist, spinal twist. Your eyes reaching towards the left side of the room. And relaxing with every exhale. Feeling that stretch into the glute even. If your leg is straight here, it's going to be a little bit stronger. If it's bent, it's a little bit easier on your back. Keeping that shoulder on the ground. A big inhale is going to bring you back center. Good. Sending that leg straight out. your right leg straight up to the sky. Allowing your eyes to stay shut if it feels right. Again, you don't have to be directly with me while we're stretching. You can be going at your own pace. This is your yoga stretch. You know what your body needs. Bringing that right arm out to the side, gluing that shoulder down as we drop our leg across to the left side. Feeling our bodies, our minds slowing down. Feeling at ease and restful. Good. When you're ready, an inhale is going to bring you back center. And exhale, both feet flat on the mat. One of my favorite ways to end is to let those knees come wide, almost like a butterfly stretch here as we're laying down. It just gets those inner thighs to open up and stretch. Just try to stay here for a few breaths, maybe 6 big deep breaths in and out. As we're here, rather than focusing on those legs, let's focus on your breath in and out. Allowing your hands to rest on your stomach or chest. Feeling the rise and fall of each breath in and out. With every breath out, feeling any tension, any stress, leave your body melting away into the mat or evaporating into the air and away from your body. Feeling everything settle down, relax, and release. If having your legs in this stretching position is not comfortable, you're welcome to assist them together, straighten out your legs, or keep them bent, leaning up against one another. Find what feels right for your body and continue to breathe. Take a moment to scan through your body. Maybe there's an area of our body that we neglected today or we didn't quite get to. You do have some time now here to stretch out extra. Maybe you wanted a few ab exercises. You do have some time. If you are ready to complete your practice today, just stay where you're at, breathing in and out. If you're ready to move on to your day, a gentle roll off to one side or the other, finding a fetal position. Taking a breath or two here before pressing up. Finding yourself seated, facing the front of your mat. Couple shoulder rolls. Hands right by your hips. A big deep breath up overhead, hands coming down, heart center. Shoulders relaxed. Thank you for taking time for yourself today. You completely and entirely deserved it. Namaste. Feel free to stay. Take some time for yourself. If you've got to keep going on with your day, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you later.